Hello, welcome back. I am the Watcher, and I oiled my chair. I got a great video for you today, and I'll even try to watch my language so you can have the children in on this one. Because today, I'm reviewing cartoons featuring Courage the Cowardly Dog, everyone's favorite dog. What? Your favorite dog's Brian Griffin? That sucks. Oh, gosh dang it. That's as bad as my language is going to get, I promise. If you don't like cartoons, I don't know why you're on my channel, honestly, but you can come back next week when I'm going to do something I'm even more excited about. Team America! I love America, I love motorcycles, and this has them both in spades. And I actually bought the whole series before I started the video series on it, so you'll get to see the whole thing, beginning to end. I believe there's 12 issues. I got them all. But today, we're doing some cartoon action. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, welcome back. I'm trying some new things with the camera. I got it on the table this time. You might be able to see the foot in shot. I'm trying to figure this out. It's a mixture of the camera and the lighting, getting it so there's no glare, and you get the best image possible. I am new to a lot of this, so if anyone has any tips or tricks on how to do this, I would really like to know. I've been watching some videos online that I think will help. But I really am dedicated to bringing the best quality for these videos possible. So the front cover, you'll notice there's this green, what looks like a toxic waste monster. I'm going to ruin this for you now. But this is supposed to be cheese, and I think whoever colored this didn't know what the content was, so they just did it green. Because it's a yellow cheese monster. Anyways, they say darn it a lot. I think that's the worst swear they could get in here. They don't even call him stupid dog that much. Now, I show the front and back every time because that's what you first judge a book by, is the cover. I know they say not to do it, but that saying is stupid. And you have this really gross pizza ad. As if you need another reason to eat pizza. And you can win some extreme points at Tony's.com. When I was a kid, Tony Hawk was a pizza bagel mascot, and I always wondered if they're trying to capitalize on that. Really bad pizza. I think so. I'm more of a DiGiorno fan myself. There's probably already people typing up the hate comments. Now, I do have a bit of a injury on my left hand. I've been getting tattoo removal. And I don't want to make you guys have to look at that the whole video, because I just got it about 4 days ago, so you won't see my other hand in this video too much. I figured I owed everyone an explanation. So let's get into the comic. You start off with another food ad, mini Oreos. Really predatory with the food ads, really. That's all you're going to see a lot of in here. And the first panel, nowadays, you watch the Courage the Cowardly Dog cartoon, the animation might seem cheap compared to what we can do now, especially with the computer-generated stuff and added stuff. But back then, when it came out, it was cutting edge. It looked amazing. Nothing else looked like that other than your Windows 98 when you booted it up. Those purple, deep, actual sky shots that were colored weird. Just gorgeous. I'm realizing right now, looking at the camera, this is why I had such a reflection issue in some of my other videos, is they have the glossy paper. This is more of the newsprint. And you can see the gloss right here is shining. I'll figure this out, I swear. I'll get a sock or something. So anyways, it starts off with Eustace snoring. I'm going to say he sleeps through this whole thing. Zzz, darn dog. Zzz. And then Muriel, she's watching the stereotypical French guy, and she's like, oh, I want to try some of that cheese he's selling. It's like Guy Fieri's trash can nachos. I don't know if you ever bought that or seen that. And again, for stereotypes, I'm just going to read this how it's written. So, I'm not the one that wrote this. The fondue, she smells so cheesy good, like heaven on a stick. I guess I really can't say that I think this is a stereotype and then read that like that. Maybe it's a bit like the X Factor, how I made that one guy French-Canadian for no reason. Look, I enjoy these how I enjoy it. You enjoy them how you enjoy it. If you're offended, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm going to get off of it. Oh, that sounds marvelous. How do I get some? Call the number on the bottom of this screen. Our operator, she is standing by. 1-800-CHEESY. I mean, look, he's got those... He looks cracked out. A lot of the villains in this show. You know, when I was a kid and this show came out, I knew adults who were like, I can't watch that show, it freaks me out. And as an adult now, I get it. My son loves it. We've been watching it together. It's adorable. He's like, it's got a mouth! Whoa! He's not scared. He's excited. He loves it. He loves zombies and monsters. Anything with big teeth that eat stuff. Muriel, she calls. She's like, I want some of that cheese. And she's like, can I get this delivered this afternoon? I want a surprise for my husband's supper. You know, I just noticed, he says, I told you not to order it. He didn't. He wasn't aware. He's asleep. What a treat, Courage. I'm sure there will be enough for you too. Ooh. And then he throws his bowl in the basement and slams the door. And he swallows the key, which is, maybe not something you should show to children. She's like, Eustace does love his cheese, just like the Boondocks said. And he's sleeping. Muriel's pot roast is the only heaven I know of. Why does she have to go and mess with perfection? I love that joke. So then you have this toxic waste truck come up, and for some reason theirs is in a box, even though these all aren't. And the guy's like, here's your Ches cheese fondue kit. Get it away from me. My, what speedy delivery, Courage. Will you take it to the kitchen? And he's all whimpering. Sign line 13, please. By the way, I have something good planned for episode 13 coming up. Whatever do you use to clean your truck with? That gets it so shiny. This is on track for Muriel. She's really, like, just in her own little world the whole time. Honestly, Courage is, like, the only one that seems to know what's going on. And he's like, there's something fishy about this cheese. Ooh. This will be a nice treat, yeah, Courage? It's all glowing. And she hands him the cheese. Oh, look at all the goodies, all the stuff we got. So she throws him this pot and he puts it down. And he gets all buffed and ripped. And he gets 3 arms. And he freaks out. And he turns to Flab and she's like, oh my, Courage, you're looking a bit out of shape. What you need is a little protein. And, you know, I didn't expect to see bodybuilding jokes in here, but I appreciate them. I love our time in the kitchen together, Courage. And he's like, ooh, I just melted in front of you. Oh, I didn't notice this before. You fools. It's that doctor with the 6 legs always like, this is my cheese, you fool. So they put him on. That's why it's all messed up, because he did it. That's so, dude, I read this last week, didn't notice that. I had this comic book since I was a kid, never noticed that. That's hilarious. So, boom, the cheese blows up. I hope this isn't going to be too spicy. Milk will help us cut the cheese. So apparently it's like Kraft macaroni. Or what do they call it in Canada? Kraft dinner? Same thing. I'm sure you guys add milk as well. Now we just sit back and wait, and it starts hissing, and he tries throwing the lid on it. Oh, that doesn't seem right, does it, Courage? And it's going... I probably shouldn't do that. The freaking camera's going to fall over any minute. I got like 1 foot off the table, I swear. And then, whoosh, the cheese monster whoops out. See, he's yellow, he's not green. And she's like, it's alive! And you have another one of these weird, disgusting food ads from the late 90s, early 2000s. Not like the kid earlier, how he's all just like shiny and greasy looking and it zoomed in on his face, but just, I don't know, these guys, like their legs, it should be delicious, right? It bothered me. By the way, these crackers, if you're interested in them, you wonder what they taste like, they weren't that good. There's a reason they're not around anymore, like the cheese ones. So he's like, ah! Courage, this cheese doesn't seem to want to simmer down. And this is actually like the most aware she's been of a danger. Really, I started watching the cartoon again with my kid because he wanted me to read in this comic, and then he wanted to watch the cartoon. Well, I told him there's a cartoon, and dude, she is just like freaking poor Courage, bro. The things he does for love, that beautiful scamp. Oh, you're a rude cheese. And it's just crashing around. It's like, look, it's slapping its face down trying to eat them. It's like freaking, like that movie where Ryan Reynolds gets eaten by that alien blob thing. Courage, help! Courage, oof! And he jumps and he's got some forks and a spatula. And he's like, I'm coming, Muriel. And he puts the fondue forks in the spatula and spoing and just, he's like, oh, ah! And Muriel, she gets dropped. Lucky it didn't hit her. Then he runs up, he just shanks him. He shanks him in the face. And this is what I was telling my son about the thing, is like, because he's like, why is he Courage? My son is 4, by the way. I explained to him that Courage isn't brave because he doesn't get scared. He's brave because even though he gets scared, he still does whatever he has to protect his loved ones, even if it could cost him. And that makes him a hero in my book. And so then he throws the cheese in the fridge and he's like, don't come back for dinner. And then they slam it shut and it freezes. And Muriel's like, I think I have an idea, Courage. And then Eustace, he's happy as hell. He finally wakes up. He's like, frozen cheese on a stick? It's just like a little slice of heaven. And Courage don't want to eat it. I don't blame him. You know, I just realized one of his catchphrases is, where's my supper? Or where's my dinner? He always wants dinner and he just didn't get it. So then you have a cute little I am weasel. Now, IR Baboon, they're arguing, and IR Baboon's hypothesis is pretty much that cold things fall slower than hot things. And Weasel's like, all right, prove it then. So he drops an ice cube in his hand. And he's like, cold thing? Yes, quite so. Hot thing? He chucks a burning barbecue at him. And of course it hits the ground. He's not going to catch it. He's like, yeah! He's like, see, IR being smart. And it points at his butt and says end. Even though his butt's cut off. Which, you know, the hot thing did fall quicker. Does that prove that IR was right? Or is he just a psychotic moron who tried to murder Weasel by throwing a flaming barbecue at him? Why is his hand not getting burned? And then you got these Monster Inc. kids. I guess they did some sort of contest. This chick took her mask off like right then. Oh wow, look at this one kid's face. Noodle boy there. Look at his, like, he's just like, I don't think he's happy to be there. Or he's not good at having his picture taken. I like Octopus Girl too. Yeah, some of these kids got really cool costumes. Let's just appreciate the work these kids put into their costumes. A lot of them probably grew up to be furries. And then you have Johnny Bravo, which if you can't tell, I took a lot of life lessons from this guy. He's talking about how he hasn't always been a chick magnet. It didn't kick in till 2nd grade when he finished potty training. And his plan is pretty much to go up and try to kiss all 3 of these girls. He goes down the line hitting on them. And then when that doesn't work, he takes their ball and they just walk off. And then he's in class annoying them. He's like, I'm going to annoy you until you kiss me. And, you know, I'm not up to date on things, but I'm pretty sure that's a form of sexual assault, I guess. Badgering someone into it. And then the teacher, she makes him stay after. And he thinks he's going to get some. Well, he just says, oh, baby, she wants me. Which, I don't know, bro. Like, what are you going to do? But, you know, I was the same way as a little kid. Like, I was like a dog chasing cars. I didn't know what I was going to do if I caught it. And she's making them right on the board. I will not repulse girls. Over and over again. And, let's hope he doesn't have a shame kink, because that's, I don't know, they kind of drew her legs, you know, like a woman. And he's like, I hope you learned your lesson today. He's like, yeah, I learned I gotta start early in the day. And he's hitting on him at the bus stop. She's throwing a lunch pail at his head, because that is an appropriate way to react to someone hitting on you. Man, Johnny Bravo's really problematic in the modern era, isn't he? Now, this method I call going down the line. You see a group of women, and you go up and you hit on one, and the one you find the most attractive, and you go down the line. Yeah, That sounds bad. I actually know a guy. Keep in mind, they're both in their 60s now, and that's actually how he met his wife. He was getting a ride from his friend, and they're driving down the road, and he jumped out of the van, and he saw these two women, and he went up to one and started hitting on her, and she said no. And so he turned to the woman next to her, and he started hitting on her, and they ended up getting married. So, kismet. So now you have this great little cow and chicken, and they're playing musical chairs, and you have their parents who, in case you didn't see the reveal, they're literally just legs. They have no upper body. Man, shit was weird back then. And Chicken, he thinks he won, and then his sister crushes him, which I guess this could also be a fetish. Oh, look, they miscolored his beak. They gave him a normal chicken beak, and they colored it like his waddle. I didn't notice that till now. And she's like, and she farted on him. She crushed him and farted on him. And then I seen this cartoon, which I didn't remember till I saw this, but I'm like, oh, that show sucked. I'm sure this was your favorite show growing up, and if so, maybe tell me why you liked it. I remember not liking it as a kid. Oh, then you have some nice Ed and Eddy. So these, Double D, look, he even has them labeled, and Ed, they're just trying to cram rocks in the gutter. And Eddy comes up and he's like, oh, we're gonna make some money, guys. Kevin, he's hosting a skateboarding competition, and you can win a whole $1. But it costs $0.25 to enter. So Kevin, he's making some dough, right? So then Double D, he's like, all right, Eddy, fine, I'll make you a skateboard, and we'll make Ed do it because he's the least intelligent one. We'll let him get hurt. So he falls off immediately. So then Double D, he glues him to the board. He's like, look, I'm paying attention. He's watching the road. And then Ralph stops to yell at him. Odorous Ed boys, what ruckus is this that disturbs Ralph's chores? Double D apologizes to him. Ed's learning the finer points of skateboarding. Learning, Ed? Ha! You twist Ralph's flywheel. He just crashes again. So then he's all wrapped around this pole. Ralph's just laughing at him. Ralph has not seen such buffoonery since Nana fell from the Tower of Pigs. Tower of Pigs sounds like terrifying for some reason. And then Double D's happy because his idea of gluing him to his shoddy skateboard worked. Here's where Eddy finds out he's charging $0.25, and he's freaking out. He's like, oh man, I'm broke because of my addiction that I spend all my money on. Double D is like, well, perhaps Kevin will be understanding. And Eddy's like, and if he's not, we tie him to a chimney. I like your style, sockhead. Eddy, I never said... never mind. He just gives up on him. And then you have Kevin. And if you watch the show, you might notice his shirt is orange. It's normally green. They made it work. I mean, it's... just, I'm sure if you watch the show, you're going to notice. And so his idea is like, if you waive the entrance fee, I'll split the prize money with you. And he's like, deal, because like he knows they're not going to win, and even if they do, then he only has to shove out 50 cents instead of $1. And Eddy's like, that was too easy. And you know what? If it's that easy, Eddy, you're probably the sucker. So here they are. They got this ramp here. Okay, Ed, take a skate on my ramp and I'll time you. I'm a gravity-sucking tumbleweed from the planet Woody. Yes, well, whatever works for you. Alley-oop! And he just crashes through immediately. Curse my lack of constructive skill. Crack, boom, and the whole thing crashes down. I think he's pretty talented myself. They make a lot of stuff. Bordo-Rama skate contest. The next day. Looking good, Plank. He's just in a shoe. Ralph has a giant sausage. You can't skateboard with a sausage, dude. Eddy shows up. Hey, I'm here. Can we start? I was grabbing a little motivation. Buttered toast. Ed's favorite thing. How uncharacteristically thoughtful. Yum yum, crash. Man, Ed, you weigh a ton. He's smashing him. He's eating that toast. And then you have some beautiful illustrations of Hawkman here. It kind of makes me want to buy the Hawkman comic. I never had too much of it, but I mean, just look at that. Like, damn, dude, over that city, the lighting. That's beautiful. Like, I would set that as a wallpaper. Personally, my favorite bird-themed superhero is also my favorite bird-themed lawyer, and my favorite lawyer, Harvey Birdman. Now, this one's kind of funny because you have, another one of their comic ads, but then on the side you have MVP2, Most Valuable Primate. I should get both of these and review them, since they're meant to be viewed side by side. And then Ed messed up his ankle and it's filling full of water. He's like, what about my backup? I think you busted it. That looks sprained, Ed. He's like, that's not good. He's like, oh, bad luck, dorks. I guess you owe me $5. And they're like, we're not racing. He's like, well, if you're not racing, how about a sandwich? Oh boy, peanut butter and mayonnaise, please. Ham on rye for me, Kevy, old boy. A knuckle sandwich, that is. Oh, I caught on the first time. Oh no. No, he's gonna beat them up, I guess, because they can't skate now. Oh, so he's threatening them. He's threatening them into performing. So then Double D's up there and he's like, oh, I'm gonna eat shit on this, or I'm going to freaking I'm gonna get beat up by Kevin. And I guess he thinks the ramp and gravity will be more merciful. And Rolf, he robbed Plank, and he's just staring at him like, yeah, you're a freaking sucker. I got this. God, Johnny's wearing sandals still. I always like the idea that Johnny saved Plank from a construction site. Saved. And he's like a eco protester. He's like, oh, it's a race. I don't know how you race on a ramp. Maybe someone better at skateboarding can explain what you get out of 4 people lining up on a ramp and racing, and how you do that. And Double D, he's worried. He's like, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Go. And he chokes. He just stands there. You have another one of those split ads. MVP2 again with another comic. The Power Company. I never heard of them. I wonder if they're like the electric company. They look kind of cool. They got that. I thought that was Captain America. It's not. It's a DC character. I don't know who any of these people are. That guy, he's bald, but he's got a beard. I mean, they look kind of cool. Kevin's like, I knew you played me for a fool. And so he goes to chase them, and then they all ride the skateboard. And they go down and they launch themselves off the other side. He's like, show your faces again, I'll tear them off. And then they land in the desert, which this is the only time in official Ed, and Eddy media where I'm aware that you see them outside the cul-de-sac, really. Or outside their neighborhood. Let alone in a different biome. I guess the later show had them in their school. Again, their neighborhood, I imagine it's like 4 blocks. And that's it. And they're stuck in the desert, all dealing with it in their own way. Then you have this pocket superheroes. They kind of look wooden. Man, look at some of their faces. Like look at Wonder Woman. And that chick next to her. She looks like she's got a poop. Super Wonder Woman. Look at freaking Ryan Reynolds next to her. Black Manta's the only one who has like a normal looking face because he's wearing a mask. Oh, Mr. Fate. I have actually a Mr. Fate issue 1 that I'm going to do here at some point. And I'm pretty sure that might be all of it, just about. Oh, you have another IR baboon. So this is IR Smelly. And it's pretty much about him being disgusting and grossing people out. And so I am Weasel. He tricks them to getting on top of his car and he drives them through a car wash. And it hurts like hell. And he's like, I am cleaning. He's got a black eye. It's kind of brutal. He's like, yes, I'm going to trick this moron into me freaking torturing him with this car wash. That's the most humane way to wash him. And then you have the end here. Oh, look, you have this spy versus spy themed Dexter drawing. I guess that was next month. I kind of want to get that one now. At least I think they're going for spy versus spy. Otherwise, I don't know what the hell they're doing. It is a later animation style for Dexter, though, looking by the button placement, so can't be that good. And then you have this Jolly Rancher ad, and that's about it. Just a bunch of little short stories. This is honestly, like, I would never read in the bathroom because I care about the integrity of books too much, but this is a really good, like, little bathroom one. And what I mean by that is, like, little quick stories, like that joke book your grandpa has in the bathroom. Just get a little laugh in. Well, anyways, I really love this. It brought back the nostalgia feels for me. I would love to hear what you have to say. And as for what I have to say, let's get to the final thoughts. Okay, as for my final thoughts. I thought this comic was alright. It's just a bunch of short gags, really. Hardly any of them go more than a few pages. I think just the main one with Courage and then that one other story with Ed and Eddy in it. The one thing that really surprised me, the difference in here, was the ads. Because they seemed a little more predatory, as in there seemed to be a lot more in this kids' DC comic than the adult ones. But I will say the type of ads were better. Other than like the disgusting food ads and whatnot. That's how food ads used to be. They didn't try to make it look good. They're like, whoa, totally grossed out, bro. That's what they thought we wanted because everything was just so extreme back then. But the ads you did see were more like promoting other comics from DC. I mean, there was a few that weren't, but it wasn't like some of the other comics, kind of like X Factor we did in the previous video, where the ads were just all over the place. As for my power scaling system, I don't think anyone in here could defeat Captain Planet. Although Courage the Cowardly Dog versus Captain Planet would be a very interesting show idea. It'd probably just be another one of those episodes where he's like, yeah, you're right, and he flies off. Or whatever it is he does. You know, that's the thing. I've been saying defeat this whole time, but should I be counting... Like, does a character have to defeat Captain Planet? Do they have to physically beat him up? Because if they could deter him through, like, wacky antics or changing his heart and mind or convincing him they're on the same side, would that too be defeating? You know, I'm really thinking of this as I'm doing this monologue. As always, I haven't been saying this, but I realize I need to. I would love to hear what you have to say about this comic, or about anything I brought up in here, really. And that's what the comments are for. You know, the main reason I did this channel is because I've been reading these comics, and I just wanted someone to talk to about them. To get my ideas out there and just... I don't know, the whole process seems very cathartic to me. But having that engagement from the audience would certainly mean a lot to me. Well, anyways, thank you for joining me here again, and I hope to see you back next week. And until then, stay safe and good night.